Okay, so technically this should be working. I am so entirely confused as to how this is working. Like, on the one hand, it's saying, like, oh, it's totally working, and I can see myself in my little, like, thing over here. But then I go to look at YouTube, and it's not showing me anything. So, whatever. Half y'all don't even watch my videos anyways. Let's be real. You're here for the podcast version. Let's just call it what it is. So, we're going to do this as a little test run and then see what happens and go from there. And if you guys aren't here for it, I don't know what to tell you. I don't, because so I keep trying to do the normal thing that I usually do. I log onto YouTube, I click the little thing that says live stream, like the webcam thing, and then that works. And I have my old webcam from like 2009 that is kind of working sometimes, but isn't working with the live stream. It's only working with certain software. And then my new webcam that you guys are used to seeing isn't even registering at all for some reason, which doesn't make sense because, like, once I got my stuff back from my mom, like, none of my AV stuff is working literally at all. My laptop is, like, barely running. My old laptop that you guys were used to seeing doesn't work at all. The video quality from my laptop camera, which is what I'm currently using, is absolute garbage. It looks like I'm recording this on a damn potato, so whatever. Point is, I'm doing the best that I can with what I have. Deep breath. I need an adult. So, since I'm just going to assume we're in podcast mode right now, not assuming that people can't see me and I can just, like, what do people do when people aren't looking? Like, pick their butts or something? I don't know. So at the end of my last live stream, I shouted out a channel that I wish I had not. In a similar situation to the Rewired Soul. So, do you guys remember in the way back when the Rewired Soul was, like, first popping on the scene? And I forget his real name. I have not kept up with him because he is just a bucket of drama, and I don't really understand why. But he kind of popped up out of nowhere, and he was kind of labeling himself as this big, like, mental health advocate, and he was saying that he was basically, my cat is trying to eat a piece of glitter, I'm sorry. He was saying that he was trying to, like, change the landscape of how YouTube approached mental health and this and that and whatever. So he was basically saying that he was trying to kind of open up the conversation, right? So then he starts going into, like, these armchair diagnostics of people where he was saying that so-and-so had this mental disorder and so-and-so had that mental disorder, and he didn't have any criteria for literally anything, and it was just a big old mess, and it soon dissolved into a whole catastrophe. Well, kind of early on in that, before it kind of imploded on itself, he had actually, all right, cool, still having an aneurysm, all right. He had actually reached out to me on Instagram, and he was like, hey, I saw your channel, I dig your vibe, whatever. He's like, I want to do a collab with you. And I was like, all right, how do you want to do this? And he was saying something about Google Drive. Clearly, if I can't even get a webcam to work, I am not exactly the kind of person who needs to be trying to figure out things like Google Drive, or like I struggle to get like attachments into email. I'm a grandmother. I'm 104, okay? So what we're not gonna do is that, all right? It's just not gonna happen, okay? Or at least it's not gonna happen successfully. So I kind of put it to the side. The conversation fizzled out and nothing really came of it. And I'm glad that it didn't, because that is not something that I would really want to get mixed up in, because I don't really want to have myself associated with something like that in terms of like the drama and the nonsense. So the channel that I had kind of shouted out last time, I'm not even going to repeat it, but basically it's this guy who, that background noise is literally just my cat trying to get into the window. She's looking for her best friend, Roof Cat. It's a thing. Anyways, so this guy, he says that he is a trauma therapist. I cannot confirm that. I do not have a copy of any kind of credentials. I do not have any proof of what he does. So I can't confirm what he says, right? But he says that he is a trauma therapist specializing in EMDR therapy, which is the therapy that I have used for my trauma. Okay? So, in saying all of that, we were talking and he was like, oh, I want to do a collab with you. And I was like, okay, a word. He's done interviews with the Illuminati or Blair, who I absolutely love. And he's done an interview with Ready to Glare. And I absolutely love her as well. So it was kind of interesting to see that this guy who's done these interviews, he lives up towards Denver, so he's like kind of local, you know, supposedly working in the mental health field, seemed like a, you know, good fit or whatever. But the conversations got weird. They got super uncomfortable and kind of gaslightery, if you will, because I went back to look at some things that he had said and just kind of see, okay, like, where did I screw up? Like, where did I go wrong? What can I learn from this situation? And he deleted almost every single thing because a lot of our conversation had happened over Snapchat, which was already weird. So, let me back up. We met on Facebook, right? He asked for my number. We started texting. From texting, we went over to Snapchat. And then we went back to texting. We had a misunderstanding about something, and instead of talking it out like normal people would, he freaked out. And it was just so bizarre to me. And I told him, I was like, none of this feels normal. Like, none of this feels like a normal conversation. I'm uncomfortable. I don't like where this is going. I don't like what's happening. I'm not okay with this. And no. We're gonna stop this here. And he kept wanting me to explain myself in like 80 different ways. The whole thing was just bizarre. It was just so odd, right? And I'm sitting here thinking, like, if you're a therapist, he's telling me, like, he doesn't want to be on all the time. He doesn't want to feel like he's at work all the time, and I get that. But sometimes you have to have those heavy conversations, and you just can't avoid it, you know? So it got to a point where the conversation just got so bizarre that I had to remove myself from it because it was just too uncomfortable, I suppose. And like I'm okay having weird conversations. Like I'm totally okay having weird conversations, but this was just like above and beyond what was acceptable. Now, assuming that this had all gone hunky-dory, right? And I had put myself in that situation and I had let things happen naturally and we had done the collab, again, just like with the Rewired Soul, I would have put myself in a situation where I associated myself with another creator, another channel that was entirely toxic, and none of that needed to happen. Kind of like with the whole Brandon thing. At no point did I need to associate my channel with his. But it seemed like a good idea at the time because it was like, oh, I do YouTuber-y things, you do Twitch things. Like, it was kind of trying to, like, merge things together, I suppose. It did not need to happen, like, at all. And so with this guy, again, it did not need to happen. So I am officially, like, right now making it a thing where I will tell no one else that I do YouTube. I will tell no one else that I have any kind of online presence because it's not relevant. And I'm not going to associate my channel with anybody unless they fit what I'm trying to do really, really well. Because what I would like to accomplish with this channel in building a community centered around, like, mental health, what it's like for me as an actual mental health patient in the system, living with a disorder that will either result in treatment or death. What's it really like? We're getting a lot of the TV and movie ideal cliche type things, a lot of silver linings playbook type jams, but we're not getting a whole lot of, like, what the reality is. And for me, especially taking you guys through what it was like for me during my period of homelessness, what I'm doing to build myself back up from that, it's always been important for me to share that with you guys because I want you to know that these things happen. They are okay if they do happen. They are unfortunately very typical for people who do experience mental health crisis. A lot of times people who have severe mental illness, unfortunately, it is a statistic that a lot of times people in that position will end up either in the prison system for one reason or another, which it's not a crime to have a mental illness, but for some reason people seem to think it is, or they will end up homeless. I happen to have ended up on the homeless side of things. So it was important for me to share that with you guys to show you, hey, this is my reality. Building myself back up from that. Hey, this is my reality. This is what it is. That was kind of the goal from the get-go of this channel. Another thing that this guy said that really, oh my God, I wish I had gotten a screenshot of this. It bothered me so much. He said that he was getting a collab with somebody, and I guess it was like a big channel, and he was really excited about it, which is great. But then he said, I'm going to be huge. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, my channel, I'm going to be a famous therapist. You can walk right back out the door you came from. We don't do that here. I don't care about your following. I don't care about what you think is recognition. I don't care about numbers. I don't care about dollar signs. I don't care about literally any of that. If your only purpose in the mental health system is self-aggrandizing recognition, bye. I'm not interested in that, because that is not helping the client. That is not helping the person who is actually there for treatment. That's not helping at all. You're only in it for yourself, and I'm not here for that. I'm not interested in that. So you can take that and you can walk right back out. That alone was such a red flag. I was like, I do not wish to continue this conversation. We're done. So, all of that being said, I'm very tired. In several different ways. Mainly because it's 1:45 in the morning. I've been fighting with my laptop and YouTube for almost 2 hours now, trying to get something to work. If you guys would like to keep up with my existence and my shenanigans, the number one place you can find me right now is actually TikTok. I know, it's sad, but you can find me on TikTok at Saoirse River. The newest saga is so I have a heart-shaped spot on my foot. This is the dumbest thing ever. I have a heart-shaped spot on my foot that's been there for like 2, 3, 4 months, something like that. And I didn't really pay much mind to it because I thought it was just like a bruise, but then it never went away. And I noticed more dots today on my foot. And so, as a licensed esthetician, I always feel like trash when I see something on my skin and I'm just like, what is that? So I posted in a Facebook group of other estheticians, and one of them was like, hey, not to scare you, but like, I had spots like that on my foot a while back, and I went to the doctor and they did blood work and it was friggin' leukemia. So that's the new saga of what's wrong with me now, because I don't know what this is, but you guys know the struggle of my dad and his cancer issues, and it's not something I want to address really, but it's something that I need to, especially if it's spreading. It doesn't hurt or itch or burn or anything like that. It's just a spot on my foot that's kind of shaped like a heart, kind of shaped like Africa if you look to the side, kind of shaped like a chicken from the top. I just need to go have it looked at by my dermatologist, get some blood work done, but it's a lot easier for me to post tiny vlogs on TikTok than it is for me to fight with my laptop. So hopefully, if I'm ever able to get back up to 1,000 subscribers, I'll be able to start doing mobile uploads, mobile live streams again, which means that I could just live stream from my phone. But as of right now, I can't do that, which is stupid, by the way. I feel like if you've already reached 1,000 subscribers, you should be like locked in to whatever happens. And then if your channel crashes, you should still have all the perks. You know what I mean? Like, if you get one of your like play button milestones, they don't take away your play button if you lose subscribers. You know what I mean? So I have personal feelings towards this. Anyways, I feel like mobile live streams should just be a thing that everyone has access to, especially right now. But I digress. Anyways, I am gonna go to bed. I have seen 2 a.m. too many times. I have therapy in the morning. The thrift store downstairs. I actually live above a thrift store. It's literally the most banging thing ever. I always thought the like apartments in New York that were like above like grocery stores and stuff were just tops. And now I live in an apartment above a thrift store, and it's so cool. But the thrift store downstairs opened up. I'm not sure when they opened back up, but they opened back up. It's where I get a lot of my vintagey yarns and craftaroos, and so I'm gonna pop down there after therapy and poke around for a bit and just see what's good while I wait for my doctor to call me back, because this is unacceptable. Anyways, I'm gonna go. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, at this point, I don't care, because I'm probably never gonna see them anyways, because I have no way to access anything. YouTube is falling down the toilet, and my laptop can't keep up. Thanks for watching. Bye.